Good morning, team staffing and retention. Chris here. It's October 2nd. I was out walking Oliver, the golden retriever, and I was thinking about when it comes to staffing, and we've been talking about one-with-ones and those touch points between employees and employers and that structure and that communication. And I thought, I wouldn't be doing justice if we didn't follow up a little bit of understanding listening. I think it's really important. So apologize for the sweatshirt. It's a little brisk here in Northern California. I'm not going to put a collar on, so bear with me. But I want to talk about the art of listening to understand. And when we talk about having meetings and interaction with our teams and listening to them, I want to be more specific because it's easy to have a conversation and you have to ask yourself, hey, I'm talking to my employees, I'm checking on them. How are things going at the stores? What's your order? What's your forecast? What are your challenges? Great. That's all business side. But a conversation, a dialogue, a one with one is two-way street. Not only do we need to talk about business, but we need to spend the first, count them, 2 minutes. Big capital letters will pop up over here. First 2 minutes of every interaction, right? Whether it's a one with one, whether it's a work with, time it in your head. Make sure you do it. Don't look at your watch because that'd be rude, but make sure you understand who we're talking to. Who is my employee? What's important to them? What are their motivating factors to come to work? And that's a great opportunity to learn those keys. So you're going to ask questions. You're going to listen with the intent to understand. Now, a lot of people have conversations and listen and wait for their turn to talk. That's what they're listening for, right? Beep. That's wrong. You want to listen with the intent to understand. What do I mean by that? So if I'm talking to an employee and we're talking about those first couple of minutes, it's not about business, it's about them because people are our business and our team is our key to a successful business. I'm going to ask questions. So if I say, hey, how are your kids doing? How was your weekend, right? Very standard, generic question. They're going to say, hey, my weekend was good. Thanks. Right? Did they give me an answer? My weekend was good. Thanks. No, they checked a box. Boss asked me a personal question. I gave him a generic answer, right? So be specific in your interaction. Listen with the intent to understand. Here's some examples, right? Instead of saying, hey, how was your weekend? I'm going to say, how are your kids? How's Cindy and Joe? Did you guys get out to that pumpkin patch this weekend? How was it? Right? I'm asking things because I know things, right? I'm asking specifically. I use the name of their children because they need to understand that I know that. It's the sign of a good employer when I remember what's important to my team. I know their children's name. I know their pet's name. I'm not saying I'm knowing their house and I drive by and wave at them, but I know things about them because they've told me and I remember. I listen with the intent to understand, to retain. If that means after your one with one, you're taking notes, hey, Bob in the Jelly Jam Factory again, love Jelly Jam Factory, was talking about his kids. And I made a note, Cindy and Bobby, right? Whoever they are, make sure you understand their names. His wife, Margaret, they've got a dog named Flippy, right? Flippy's a poodle. These seem like irrelevant things to make a note of, but they're not because they're what's important to your employee. As an employer, when they recognize that I know that, hey, he remembered my kid's name. Hey, he knew about the school play coming up because we talked about it last week. They're not going to think that's weird. They're going to think that's awesome that my boss, my team captain, cares enough and remembers that what I say is important. Therefore, it's important to them. They ask follow up questions, right? Engage your team with the intent to understand. Listen to be relevant and understanding what they're saying. So again, now we're going to go back to the employee one with one example. How was your weekend? How was the career craft fair for your kids? Hey, did Bobby go as a skeleton? Do you guys change costumes, right? How's your mom doing? I remember she had the flu last time we talked. These are important questions where I'm following up on previous dialogue. So we're following up on personal information, which shows that we're invested in care. And when we invest and care, our team is going to give us better results. They're going to be more focused on their responsibilities. And they're going to feel like they work for someone who truly wants them there and they feel like they matter to me. And that's the key. That's what separates companies who have a revolving door of my employees keep quitting. Gosh, every time I hire four, I lose two, right? We all see that challenge of finding the right people. And then when we can't keep the right people, we start hiring the wrong people. We talked about that about 3 videos ago about how we interview and staff and identify the right employees. But if the right employees keep leaving me because they don't feel that I'm invested in them and care, then I'm forced to hire the wrong employees. And there's not much I can do with those employees. They're not bad. They're just not right for this industry, right? We've all got them. Gosh, I've had this rec open for 2 months and I've interviewed 50 people and I just finally had to hire somebody, right? Ask yourself, is the job too hard? No, I've got 20 other people doing it. Do I not pay competitively? That's up to you to decide. Look at your competition. Dig deep. Don't just assume. Find out what other companies are paying for similar positions. Make sure you're competitive. Don't have to be the most best paid out there. You need to be in the upper quartile. You need to be competitive. Do your work. But if those answers are all, yep, I've got a pretty good gig going here, good benefits, good healthcare, retirement, offers some vacation. Why does my key players keep quitting? Then it's a question of you, your management style. Are you invested in them? You expect them to invest in you? Are you invested in them? That's a good question. So make sure that you are always asking questions. You are always following up and taking notes, not of just business questions about, hey, last week your sales were down 2%. Let's talk about that customer A where you lost a display. Were you able to get that back? We kind of role played some ideas for you and the manager, but also have that same passion for their personal lives. How was your weekend? How was your kids? How was Bobby and Sue's Christmas or Halloween, right? How's your mom? You guys get that mole in your lawn, right? Ask them open ended questions with the intent to listen and understand so you gain insight and so you are listened by your employee listening to you and they're like, wow, my boss, my team captain cares about me and my family. They're less likely to quit. They're less likely to leave you just because somebody's got shiny grass on the other side of the fence. You're not going to have that employee who's hopping in and out all the time looking for the perfect job because they're going to have the perfect job. Remember, the grass is greener where we water it. Make sure you're watering your grass. Make sure you're listening to your people. Make sure you're building a culture that's inclusive. Make sure your team feels like that what they do, who they are, matters to you. Your people are your most important asset when it comes to a business. Make sure you take care of them. Make sure you listen to them. If you have any questions or concerns, drop in the comments. Otherwise, just want to have a quick touch point. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy October. It's going to be awesome.